Yo, genuinely, if you cannot speak publicly, you're not cool. Let me explain because look at me, I'm cool, right? I'm wearing a cap indoors. There's a bookshelf behind me. I haven't read a single book on the bookshelf, but you get the idea here. I'm cool, you're not that cool. But if you want to be cool, you need to understand that public speaking is actually important. And okay, fine, let's ignore the first 30 seconds of this video because I was largely just joking. But once I took public speaking seriously, once I viewed it as a skill, which is actually something I want to commit myself to and actually get good, yeah, by doing that, making that active, conscious decision to go and pursue it, of course, then I got better at it. Of course, then I built comfort in speaking in front of 2,000 people, winning public speaking competitions, receiving standing ovations. And oftentimes we almost lie to ourselves or convince ourselves it's not that important right now, which is false. Because I remember I heard this guy tell me, I offered some help. I offered to help him with one of my speeches, with one of his speeches. And he was like, nah, it's chill, bro. I'll just learn how to speak well when I'm older and I need to build a company and I have a business. And to me, that didn't make any sense because this is a skill we have to learn, and you're admitting to having to learn it eventually. Why wouldn't you start now and build comfort with that now? And it's simply just an excuse because many people are actually pretty cool. Many people are actually pretty strong. There's a bunch of girls out there which are baddies. They're cute, they're funny, they dress well, they got drip, but when they stand in front of a crowd to speak, they can't convey what they are, right? Because girl, you're cute. Girl, you're funny. Girl, you got drip, but you can't convey everything that you are into your speech, into your words, into your presentation effectively. And that's holding you back. So when you speak, you're actually not that cute anymore. You're not that pretty, you're not that funny, you're not that amazing. If you're a guy and you're buff and you're cool and you have high testosterone, you're actually pretty good. But then you go and you say a speech, and it's bland, it's flat. There's you're not conveying at all how cool you are. You're holding yourself back. You're buff and you're strong and you're amazing, but you can't really speak well in front of a crowd, so you're not that buff and amazing actually. You're smart. You're a good student. You're this and that. You're competent. You're amazing. You're everything that I want to be, but you can't go and speak in front of a crowd, 50 people, never mind 2,000. So you're not actually that cool. You're not actually that smart and competent. And this just points out that this is actually important. Public speaking is actually a skill we need to get good at. It is actually something. It's a packaging. The same way we go to the gym and we try and exercise because, at least for me, I mean, many people go to the gym for different reasons, but largely, I've heard it's for presentability. Is that even a word? When we present ourselves, when we go to a job interview, we look fit, we look competent. It just places us in a naturally good position to win, to succeed. It's presentable. It's a good trait. So public speaking is no different. When we have to say, stand up in front of a crowd, 30, 40 people in the lecture room, smaller group, and say, everyone just stand up and say one word which you think people would use to describe you. And a guy I know who's kind of cool, he stands up and he says, a word people would use to describe me is, I don't know, some random ass word. You're not that cool anymore, bro. Girls which are cute, they stand up and they say it. Um, People would describe me as kind. Bruh. Okay. Okay, Mother Teresa, Sister Teresa, I don't know. We get it, bro. We get it. You're kind. You're not that cool anymore. You're not that cute anymore. You're not that cool guy anymore. But when someone like me, a stud, stands up and I'm like, hi everyone, my name's Luca. I think people would describe. No, I don't even use the word think. People would describe me as funny, charming, charismatic, and then everyone laughs. And the professor's like, "Oh, okay, thanks, bro. I only say one word. Sit down, though," with a smile. It's all in good faith. It's all humorous. It's all funny. I come across as maybe a bit blowing smoke up my own ass, but that's me. That's my humor. That's the vibe I go for. Okay, that's authentic to me. But just by simply being able to stand up and speak a bit, even if it's just a sentence, I'm able to present myself in a pretty good light, in a pretty good way. So that if I want to go and speak to that professor, which we just met, if I want to go and speak to him after class and say, "Yo, I really resonated with that," he immediately knows, based on that first impression, based on the way I presented myself in the class, "Oh, okay, this guy's kind of valid." It's not, he doesn't know anything about me. So he's not going to say, "Oh, this guy's amazing and he's charming." No, but it's just more or less like a thumbs up or thumbs down. I don't have to be all the way up here as long as I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, he's kind of chill," you know. And when we answer questions in the class, there's a microphone and he passes it around and he randomly gives it to me, randomly picks me. Just by being able to speak, just by being able to use my normal tone and voice, just by using my own skills in terms of speaking, I'm able to just say a speech which people say a story with my experience at the clinic, which people can relate to. Just by me not using filler words and like and and but and stuttering and speaking slower. When he asks me a question and I just sit back in silence, it just shows that I'm thinking. It shows that I'm comfortable with the silence, comfortable with the moment, comfortable with being on the spot. That is a skill. That is important because, I'm not amazing. I'm not cool. I'm not that charming. I'm not that funny. I'm not all of this. Everything you see me as, I know I got drippy, I got the cap on. But I'm not all of those things. No one knows that though, because I present myself in the best way I possibly can, for the most part. I'm not gonna make myself sound like Superman when I'm not Superman, okay? I'm just Luca. But I tend to present myself in the best way I can, alright? So you really do owe it to yourself to present yourself in the best way you can. Public speaking is important. And if you might be cooler than me, you probably are. You might be better than me, bigger than me, stronger than me, meaner than me. If you're a girly, cuter than me. Well, that's pretty hard though. You're definitely not sweeter than me. But if you're all these things and you know it, the people in your circle might know it. You need to show it. If you can't stand up in front of a crowd, 30 people even, and just say, "Yeah," or what people would use to describe me as disciplined, because the gym means quite a lot to me, and I've, I've been able to work out there and like, gain a sense of discipline and confidence, and yeah, that just means quite a bit to me. People might resonate with that. Maybe they don't gym, but they exercise and they understand, the link. They might play sport competitive. They might have played sport competitively in high school, so they understand the discipline, the drive, the physical aspect to it. You know what I mean? People who just stand up and they just say one word, "Oh, I'm quiet," and they sit down. Okay, fine. You're a bit more introverted. That's okay, but that's not an excuse to just say the bare minimum, sit down, and boom, done. Come on, man. Add some humor to it. Add some of your own authenticity to it. Make it your own. Say a little story. I never used to be good at standing up in front of crowds like this, yet here I am trying to say a word that resembles my character. So if I had to use one word, I'm pretty sure people would describe me as, what's the word? Confident, you know? Something like that. I hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. Public speaking is actually important, guys. You owe it to yourself to represent yourself in the best way you can, for the most part. All right, don't make yourself sound like Wonder Woman when you're more just like a Catwoman kind of girl. All right. But that's been the video. These are just my thoughts, my real talk thoughts. And me just flexing my tricep. I know. But I hope you got some insight from this. I don't know how valuable or useful this is to you, but I hope it just opens your eyes so that you can see that, hey, public speaking is actually important. It's actually a thing. It's actually something we should try and work on. And it's not cringe. So take care. I'll see you in the next video. If you even like what you see on the screen, you can ask me for help if you want. Link in description for free because I'm good at this stuff. I know, and I'm looking for a testimonial. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. I will reply. Take care, my friend.